Size Matters by Jane Bird. I argue that class size matters because students in school right now will soon be the leaders of America. Every child deserves a quality education. Students in smaller class sizes receive higher test scores. My audience for this problem that I am sharing is the principal of my high school, Principal Todd Johnson. This issue should matter to Principal Johnson because as the leader of our school, he ultimately has the power to make a change. Our school is crowded into classrooms. As the principal, it is clear he cares a lot about how successful the students are. He's a super nice man and he really cares about the students, and I think by sharing this problem with him, he will realize that it matters and try to change the size of our classrooms at Wasatch High. I made the problem of oversized classrooms relevant and meaningful to him by writing about the negative effects large classrooms have and then sharing the positive effects that a small classroom has. By sharing the negative effects, it will show him that we have these problems here at Wasatch right now, and by sharing the positive effects of a small classroom, he will see the benefits of changing how Wasatch is run. The first reason that class size matters is because children enrolled in schools right now will soon be the leaders of America. The article, How Important is Class Size, really explains that in a small class setting, students are more engaged and receptive to knowledge. When class sizes are reduced in early grades, it has a lasting effect on the students. This lasting effect isn't just limited to the knowledge they retain. Also, it's really important to reduce class sizes early on so that children will get in a pattern and not be shocked when they're in a small classroom. It will feel normal to them their whole educational experience. The lasting effect that I was talking about in the last slide could also pertain to raising a generation of thinkers and doers. This alone is so important. It is important for students to learn to act on what they have learned, to apply what they have learned in the classroom to their everyday lives and their future careers. Ensuring this way of learning has a lot to do with the personal connections between students and the teacher. If a student attends school with no personal relationships with classmates or teachers, they are less likely to feel the need to succeed or try hard. When they don't have a personal relationship, it's hard for them to realize that they need to be accountable to someone, and they feel like no one really cares about them. Having a connection with others at school tends to create a feeling of responsibility or accountability. The second important reason why class size matters is because every child is entitled to a quality education. In the research book, Class Size, Large Classes, and Multiple Sections, author Mikichi explains that everyone deserves equal educational opportunities, no matter their background, race, city, or gender. No one should be discriminated against or held back from learning just because of the way they look or where they live. Everyone should be able to have the same educational experience. Further, Mikichi states, large classes are simply not as effective as small classes for retention of knowledge, critical thinking, and attitude change. When students are forced to learn in a lecture-styled environment, they become passive and unengaged. They aren't able to have class discussions and really talk to their peers to discuss what they're learning. So they simply have to stare at the person who is teaching and listen I often, when I'm in a lecture-styled classroom, phase out of what is being taught and then focus back in and realize that I've missed a lot of what is being said because it just drones on and on. When students are in small classes, they are able to interact with their fellow students in discussions, which helps retain knowledge. Studies have shown that when kids are able to talk to each other, and anyone, when they're able to talk to each other about what they've learned after it has just been taught, it really helps them retain that knowledge because they've quizzed and reviewed it instead of just learning it and trying to remember. When there are too many children in a classroom, it brings productivity to a halt. People become distractions and the teacher becomes outnumbered. Bullies and class clowns can't hide behind rows and rows of students to cause distractions. I've been in a class where kids have been really distracting and they think that they're really funny, but it really just distracts from the class. And the teacher is too busy trying to teach 40 plus kids that they don't have time to realize that no one's really listening to them because of that one or two people that are causing that distraction. When class sizes are small and children have the chance to participate fully in their class, the playing field is more level and every student is starting out in a similar place. I understand that not everyone has the same equal opportunities in their life. Like their home life may not be the same as the other person. But by giving every student an equal chance at school, we're leveling the playing field and making it easier for them to succeed in life. Further, when class sizes are too large, students become easily distracted and the teacher often becomes stressed because they cannot assist everyone, according to May. The third reason that class size matters is because students get higher grades in smaller classes. Gibbs and Jenkins state, these large classes initially generated feelings associated with sudden change. Students commented on being uncomfortable and confused. Some spent their first few weeks in a state of shock. This is referring to new upcoming freshmen at Harvard, and they were in their first lecture-styled classes, and they just really felt like they didn't really have an identity with the teacher, and the teacher didn't know who they were, and it was really uncomfortable for them. Kay May further states, if students are in want of good grades, then they must be set free from the strangling stuffed room they are forced to inhabit. When students are in large classrooms, they often don't feel comfortable asking the teacher assignment questions. I've been in classes and there have been about 40 kids in that class, and I want to ask the teacher a question about the upcoming assignment, but so do a bunch of other kids. So I end up having to email the teacher, which leads to confusion, and it's hard to get a clear answer. The counter-argument to my problem is that class sizes doesn't affect a student's ability to learn. In the article by Jonathan Beecher, it states, researchers found that none of the most commonly cited factors, class size, expenditure per pupil, teacher certification, or percentage of teachers with advanced degrees are correlated with school effectiveness. I understand that in this counter-argument, that anyone has the ability to make the most out of their educational experience. However, being in a smaller class truly helps children to succeed and be more focused in their learning. Just having the visual of a classroom with less kids in it is just so much better for kids because they can just focus, they have less distractions, and they feel more connected to their teacher and the students, and they feel more comfortable sharing ideas and discussing with others. In conclusion, class size matters because the children enrolled in schools today will soon be the leaders of America. Everyone deserves to receive a quality education, and students in smaller classes receive higher test scores. And here's my references.